Allow me to invite my panelists for this discussion. I will start with Mr. Martin Karuga, Manager, City Shuttle Bus Services, whom I've had the privilege to meet this morning for the first time. I've always had an admiration for the work that they do. So, Mr. Karuga, kindly join me up here, and later on we'll get into the deeper introductions. Put your hands together for Mr. Karuga. Allow me to also invite Mark Oyola, who is in charge of conductors and drivers at Obamana Bus Circle. And on to Ms. Joanne Kiarie, Project Management Executive at InterSuite. Joanne, we have met. Have we met? Please, thank you for coming. And then on to Tony Migui, Regional Manager, East Africa Digital G-Wealth. Karibu sana, Tony. And finally, Somet Kipchilat, Partner Development Manager at Microsoft for Africa. We have something in common with Somet. So, once more, welcome to the panel. Let's have a conversation around the role of technology in streamlining. Obviously, you have interfaced and interacted with technology at different points in the context of this topic today. I want to start with Martin. City Shuttle Bus Company manages over 300 vehicles. Let me call them vehicles. I don't know. It could be a mix of them. In Nairobi. They adopted technology in 2015 with a SACCO operations management developed by none other but Data Integrated Limited. Today they are rolling out bus scheduling in addition to fleet management, ticketing, passenger security system, and counting system. I will invite you now to just introduce yourself, especially in the context of your relationship with Data Integrated. Just briefly, and then we'll get to the questions.
Thank you very much, Eunice. My name, as you've heard, is Martin Karuga, CEO of City Shuttle for a long time. We started the bus company almost 13 years ago with only one bus, and we have come a long way. We are franchised, so we do a lot of logistics for other people's buses, and also we have a percentage of our own buses. So in 2015, I met this young lady who came into our offices and said, I have a solution. Yes, and at that time, there was so much hullabaloo about cashless. And I remember telling her, cashless is not our real problem. Our real problem is our front office management system. How do we manage how much money we are getting in? How do we manage the fuel? If we get that, then with time, we can move on to cashless. And that is how we met.
Perhaps you can tell us how the Matatu business was then, before you adopted the technology. How were you running? It's a management service, I gather. Yeah, how was it?
Previously, and I'm sure for many still who are in the transport industry and have not adopted Mary's solution, is that it's ambiguous about the business. You actually don't know at what point money is collected, at what point, and who are your clients, and that has been a challenge. But with the system coming in, then you're able, one, to know your point of sale, and then as you're able to receipt all the cash that is coming in, you can actually tell what time is of essence, and what time do you have idle time for the bus. And that time there's an idle time, you can actually say, let the bus relax, instead of it being on the road, back and forth without any entries. Yeah. But in 2015, we had this need, and the need comes from basically the solutions you're looking for. And you're saying, everyone would want to have a bus. I think everyone's dream is having a bus, like we had 13 years ago. And the next thing comes in, how do I manage the inflows? In every business, the inflows are the key. And that's where you have contact with your customers. So one of the key things we did is we gave our solution and said, am I able, one, to get a receipt of every cash that is coming in? So I'm able to know my conductor, how much money does he have at any given time? Can I offload it? At the same time, does my customer who gives the money feel that he's paying for a service that is globally known and how much it should be. So by just solving those two, then we went developing the software. So that's how we have been able to go looking at every problem, looking at a solution, and try and see what is the core value. And for me, I am happy that Mary got to listen to me, and I told her the biggest challenge in every business, and I'm sure she's going to do it along all the other platforms, even a kiosk, is a point of sale. When I sell you a matchbox, how do I remember in the evening I sold you a matchbox? It's by a receipt. And as an accountant by profession, which I am, the first lesson we learn is about receipt. So every business should be very key. How you relate with your customer and how you receive the money and how you keep records of the same. Then everything else starts calculating itself. The expenses will come from that. Right now, we are at that point where everyone is adopting technology. If you do not have a phone previously, right now you don't have a phone, you're not working in this country, isn't it? Mm. You need to exchange money, you need to transfer money. So it's the same thing. So technology right now is being embraced by everyone. But the easiness of the interaction between the system and the people is what brings about adoption.
Yeah.
That was obviously our biggest challenge when we began, because everyone was seeing this. We're talking about almost 3-4 years ago. Yeah. People are looking at it and saying, what is this thing? What is it coming to manage? Yes? Who else will be getting into that information, and how is it going to be used? Yes, we have come from far. In terms of buses, where we came from an amorphous situation where we didn't know what was happening. Right now, we are able to know at what point the bus gets on the road, at what point it's peak, at what point we have peak costs, and then at what time do we have jams, because we can actually tell from point A to B how long it takes. Right now, we are adopting you can book online for a trip and try to see how that goes. So in terms of solutions, we have been able to do that. We were able also to, using MobiTill, a solution, start managing our petrol stations online. So we can actually tell your bus how much fuel did it use, because obviously it's how much fuel it will definitely be able to. So we've been able to go tying all this capacity. So we have come from a very long place. We actually, from when we adopted it, the first 3 months we adopted, we grew by 16% in cash collection. And from there, going forward, we have actually been growing. So if you look at 2015 and now, we are at around 33% to 38% collection growth based on that. So that's good. On the other side, we have been able now to interact with our staff, who are the driver and the conductor. When they get to know how the bus performs by looking at data, they also be able to know how to manage themselves better. Yeah, going forward, we still have a lot to go.
Right.
Yes, we still want to try and find out behavioral patterns. We want to know who our customers are and what are their needs. Yeah, so that way we can actually serve all our customers well. Even one other challenge is the county, how they can come in and sit with us and see how we can actually come together and get a solution. When we are all in one platform, then we're able to share resources. We always say the sum of two is bigger than the sum of one.
Indeed.
Yes, so if they come together, their problems will become
your problems.
Our problems, and we'll look for a solution.
What did it take for the crew to adopt technology like this MobiTill? Whatever is needed is just the training and how you relate with the crew. It needs just a way in which they can be trained and being told the importance of the technology.
Right.
According to the dynamic nature of this kind of work we do, it's a challenge according to the limited time and the work we do.
Right.
If only training and proper awareness is done to the crew,
yeah,
everything can go smoothly.
Proper training, capacity, proper training and awareness.
Yeah.
From InterSwitch, what I do as a project manager is to bring ideas and concepts into reality. So that's what we do at InterSwitch. We work with multiple partners. We work with banks, we work with circles, we work with fintechs like DIL, and we just we get the solutions that they have, and we help them digitize the payments. Okay, so DIL will come to us and tell us they need a solution for payments, and we will work with them and bring it to life.
Right.
Giants have failed at card transit products. I think Safaricom has failed, KCB, Equity, DTB, name them, they have all failed. But why? In my opinion, they failed because there are design flaws in that product. Yeah? Who is the main stakeholder when you look at this industry? It's a highly informal industry. In my opinion, again, the main stakeholder is the bus driver, the tout, and the passenger. So these solutions have always tried to remove cash from these people. And when you remove cash, you remove the incentive. And you remove the motivation of them doing that work. So they'll end up sabotaging it. And I think that's why they have failed. But I do think with proper key stakeholder engagement,
Yeah.
with them getting those incentives that we've talked about,
Yes.
maybe their jobs being more permanent, NHIF, insurance, just engaging them more and winning them off cash, maybe slowly, like doing cards at peak hours. Yeah, then the product can be re-engineered and it can work. I do believe that's what is needed.
Yes.
Because I see there are other ride apps that are working in the market.
Yes.
Like we have Uber,
Yes.
we have Taxify.
Yes.
And their model is so similar to what is already happening in the matatu industry.
Yes.
There's the owner and he gives the partner a target. Give me this much per day. And that is working like that. But the previous card products that were there were just focusing on the matatu owner and leaving out the person who is actually in the grind. So maybe if we re-engineer it, it can work. We chose DIL because they are innovative fintech, just like us. They have the tenacity to become market leaders. They never give up. They keep coming up with ideas. And yeah, just seeing them prosper is why we are here. We want to prosper together with them. I believe DIL solution will work because she's thinking all around. She's thinking about the tout. She's thinking about the driver. She's thinking about the passenger who doesn't want to stay in traffic for hours, who wants to know when she can get a matatu at this point. She's trying to disrupt this industry. Yeah. And she's bringing everyone to the table to come up with a solution.
And Digital Jewels is an information governance, risk and compliance consultancy firm with a firm footprint across Africa. We are based in Lagos as our head office, but we have offices in Abuja, Accra, Kigali, and Nairobi. What we do is we assure information systems to ensure that mission critical and business critical data from the end of the vendor and of the customer are secured. So we go through the systems, we ensure that all the data that is that people deal with to ensure to get services, goods, etc. are secure. I think it's a level of neo-colonialist mindset where we appreciate more what the foreigners do, especially the white man. No offense. What happens is we need to understand that all the solutions that are being developed in Kenya are at par with international standards. In fact, they refer to Kenya as the Silicon Savannah. We are incubating more products, more services, more applications, more solutions than any other country in Africa, right? So our homegrown applications, services, and products should be given a chance by believing that we are able. And that is the biggest problem that we have. What we do is we look at the systems, as you say, it's like the medical solution, but it's predictive, it's prescriptive, and prohibitive. So what we do is we look at the system to ensure that from the secure coding part, we ensure that the coding of the application is done to international standards, right? So we look at, for instance, working with Data Integrated, we worked on and with them very closely to develop their system and to certify it to the payment card industry data security standard, in short known as PCI DSS. So we looked at their card holder data environment. Data Integrated is looking at moving primarily cashless, where people will be using cards. The uptake of cards in East Africa mainly is very low because the awareness of information security is quite low as well as compared to our experience in West Africa. So we have looked at their system, we have worked with them, we have looked at the technical aspects of their system and the people aspect of their system, right? So we look at process, we look at technology, we look at the people to ensure that whatever cardholder data is presented to make a payment through their system is secure. We are the line, as Africa, we are the line of least resistance for fraudsters. So they're attacking us more and more. And systems keep being developed to ensure that the cardholder data is not breached. So we have looked at all the aspects. I mean, there are 12 platforms that we look at. We have looked at all of them with Data Integrated painstakingly. I'm sure they don't like to see me at their offices anymore. I have caused them a lot of headache, but they have risen to the level of international standards. We're talking about standards at the level of Equity Bank in terms of cardholder data security.
Development manager, and what that means is I take care of a specific subset of Microsoft partners that build technology on top of our platforms. And so I help them build out the core technology, their business models around it, a go-to-market strategy, and essentially help them scale their businesses. I do that under a team called Microsoft for Africa, which is a market building engine that by Microsoft that looks at how do we support and build the right ecosystem to allow businesses across the continent to adopt technology. So we do that across 3 pillars. One is skills. So how do we make sure that we're able to close that skills gap? We do that through innovation, supporting organizations that build technology or use technology in their day-to-day businesses. And we do that through also our access pillar, which looks at how do we help organizations that build solutions that provide affordable access to one, connectivity, and through a number of other programs. So that is, in a nutshell, what Microsoft for Africa is. Technology does quite a lot of things, and one of them is being able to solve some of the problems that we have. So yes, there are fundamentals that technology will be able to solve, but with that, there's still the human component of it. So there's a lot of work from different players in the industry, so technology being part of that. So it essentially provides a platform to make things easy to do. So the partnership that we have with Data Integrated looks across their entire business. Part of the main core of that is technology, as Microsoft is a technology company. One is looking at their technology from end to end. So we look at how do we make sure that they are using the right modern technologies to allow them to, one, scale, to be sustainable. As we make sure that the technology makes sense from both a technical and business perspective, we also help them build the right business models around the new technology that they're putting out there. So if you're using Internet of Things as an example, that unlocks an opportunity for you to create a whole business model around it. And so we help them craft that entire business model and also look at how do we help them also scale and go to market. So we look at their business across all 3 fronts, core of that being technology, making sure that that allows them to scale. So as they deploy the solutions across Africa, we consider sure that it's able to scale. Technology becomes a tool. What is Wahama if you don't know what to do with it? So technology becomes this tool that allows you to do quite a lot of things. So the question is, how do you use that tool, one, responsibly and in a proper way, and how do you use it to allow you to scale and grow?
You should always be scared about information security. there's no fix right now, because as development goes on, as technologies increase, so do the risks. However, by adoption of globally accepted best practices, we get to at least assure that we are taking maximum care of our information assets. We are talking about the Epesi system. Mary has taken it upon herself, and Data Integrated, to ensure that all the interactions she has with the cards are secure. But also, what does it take from everyone in this room to secure their own information security? It starts at home. It doesn't start at Epesi or at Digital Jewels. It starts at home. Simple measures to take. And information security awareness needs to be a larger discussion in the country. Simple things like you cannot share images of your ATM card and send to a friend so that they can make a purchase on eBay, for instance. Keep that card secure. They always tell you, I'm sure you receive messages, pin yako ni siri yako. It's not a joke. This is, information security is a big issue. So we have to understand that we have to take extra care to ensure that we are secure. Number two, we are the largest adopters of mobile money in the world. We embraced that technology very fast. Let us embrace other technologies as well. We are known to be leaders. If Kenya sneezes, East Africa gets a what?
Flu.
It gets a what?
Flu. A cold.
Exactly. So you have to understand that we have to be the early adopters to these technologies. We have to trust that our homegrown are taking extra care to ensure that our systems and the systems that they give us to interface with are secure. So I guess that is my parting shot, but take information security as a very serious matter.
Technology will assist a lot because it's going to be beneficial for future reference. If it's going to show tangible evidence for future reference, if in terms of cash concerning the assets or management of the circle.
Thank you.
The biggest opportunity, like with the public transport, there is opportunity with the card payment. We just believe that the product itself has to be thought end to end, so that it keeps in mind all the key stakeholders, so that we reduce the resistance to this product. So we do see a future with card payments. That's why we're in that business. We do know that with the mobile phones, we'll soon have all our cards on these phones, and with such gadgets as Mary is intending to have, we'll just be tapping on the gadgets and putting our PIN. So the future is very bright, and with the kind of infrastructure we have at InterSwitch, we'll be able to support all these kind of payments.
Where we are going and where we are right now, it's a good place. Having known that I can wake up in the morning and find out how many buses are on the route, how many of them got out at this time, and how much money has been collected from a company perspective. From an individual, you'll be able to see your bus, and we are having data and data integrity coming with reports of abnormality. If your bus has made 3,000 and everyone is at 11, then it gives you an alarm. So all those kind of developments that we are going into that help you manage.
Yes.
And at the end of the return, and at the end of the day, we always say as investors, the key thing is ROI, return on investment. And it being a beautiful place with Mary and data integrity is that many of us have the same thing. But now we call it ROI, but return on
investment.
Not investment now, but in action. So many of us are having a challenge of not adopting systems like what Mary has, and that's why we don't get the results. So return on in action is more expensive. For me, I would say proactivity is what has brought us to this point, and synergy with my friend Mark here is what's going to take us to the next level. I believe and I understand that life is based on laws, and for me, I would say policies. And policies are best well defined when there is synergy. the government comes from an authoritative point. For investors, we come in as people looking for ROI, and ROI meaning return on investment. And we have our people on the ground, Mark and others, who are looking for continuity, a stable environment. So if we all come together and say, what exactly are we managing? Are we managing the buses? Are we managing the roads? Are we managing people? Then we're going to get solutions that target the customers. But many of the solutions that are brought about, and you have talked about, is managing the bus, the driver, the investor. It never helps, because at the end of the day, we need to understand what is the core issue, then find out. And the best way to do it is start collecting data. As you're saying, research is key. And the best way to collect data goes back to agreeing that we need a system on the ground. Even at the current situation, before the change, let's manage what is there. Then we'll always grow from a platform of data. So before we go cashless, can we manage the money that is coming in using receipts? Even the government right now doesn't go cashless. Most of them is still cash-to-cash transaction. So after that now, how can we go to the next step? So for me, I would ask, can we be involved? Can you invite me to be in that panel? And sit down and look at what is the core issue? Yes? Is our school system the problem? Are people moving from Ruburu to Lavington for school? Is that causing the issue? We are looking at the core issue, which is the customer. So the bus is just but a tool to facilitate that movement.
There is not much more that can be added except to say, if we are going to manage all of those things, we will surely need data. We will surely need to look at emerging technologies and collect as much data as possible, analyze it, and make decisions that are informed by facts, and to your word, put the stakeholder on the table.